Hi, Christina.
How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
I appreciate you talking to me about this. I love the Addams Family. I have so much fun with these movies. And I'm curious, how do you channel your inner Uncle Fester? Is there anything that you do to immediately get back to his voice and his mindset?
I think until I had my own child, I was the Uncle Fester to my own family. I have a ton of nieces and nephews, and so I was the weird single uncle for a long time. So I really just try to channel that. And I have a lot of eczema, and I feel like Fester probably has a ton of eczema. So I think about myself getting out of the shower, piping red, my skin on fire, and I feel like that really brings me into the vibe and mindset of an Uncle Fester.
What do you most enjoy about the journey that he gets to take in this film and how he gets to save the day a little bit?
It's a Addams Family 2 is really a road trip movie, but inside of that, Uncle Fester, Wednesday has been doing a science experiment where she has decided to try to make Uncle Fester smarter by merging his DNA with an octopus, because that will make him smarter. So he's under this constant physical transformation, which is a fun thing to play, just beyond trying to say funny words or funny scenarios. This weird physical thing is happening to him. He's also giving Pugsley a ton of dating advice, and I don't believe he's ever been on a second date, so I don't know if anybody should be taking dating advice from Uncle Fester. I can relate to a lot of that. I just love when my characters, and specifically something like Uncle Fester, has active things happening to him, and that he is acting upon. That's like all you're asking for as a performer. So there's a lot of that in here for me to play with.
Does that also change your physicality when you're voicing him? Even if we can't see it, does it change how you stand and how you want to voice him?
Fester has a lot of action in this movie, and so trying to voice action is a weird thing that you have to learn how to do. Of like, oh, ah! There's a lot of sort of like that, like oh, ow, oh, he's like gets bumped around and knocked around, and so that takes a little while to figure out, and especially the further you get into the animation, once they have either animatics or the final, as they're getting towards the end of it, it helps to be able to visually see it, and then I can sometimes watch it and do some of the more active elements once I've seen it, because I have a better understanding of what they're going for.
I know that you've previously said that you grew up watching the Addams Family TV series and that you've watched the movies that came out later. What was your first impression seeing this family, this creepy and kooky family? What did you make of them when you first saw them?
Well, I think is when I was a kid and when I was a kid watching reruns of the TV show and then later watching the Addams Family Values live action movies, what I don't think you realize is one of the reasons they're so successful is because they are a family like any other. And yes, they're weird and disgusting and creepy and kooky, but ultimately they're just a family who spends a lot of time together and has issues with each other. But there's something very ultimately relatable about them, as weird as they are. Also, I think the feeling that you feel like your family is always an outsider and yet also completely normal, which is a weird juxtaposition, but I think a lot of people can hold both of those feelings at once, and I think the Addams Family really speaks to those feelings. All of those, I think, make it just an incredibly relatable group of people, as weird as they are.
On a very different note, I very much enjoyed your performance as Edgar Allan Poe in Dickinson. What was it like to take on that role? How was the experience of embodying someone like that?
It was a blast. I mean, I think that show is so well done. Haley's a tremendous actor, and the creative team behind it has really created something really special and unique. When they offered me Edgar Allan Poe, my friend Io Debris, who had been as a writer on Big Mouth and now voices Missy as well, had written the episode. So it was kind of a no-brainer to go on and play. What was interesting, at the last minute, they were like, Edgar Allan Poe is actually kind of Southern. Would you be able to do a Southern accent? And I was like, Okay, so at the last minute, it became sort of a bit of a southern accent. So I hope that I was able to pull that off last minute. But I think the show is so tonally, it's got such an interesting vibe to it, and this mix of classic literature with a very modern take is a fun new development in storytelling that I was really excited to be a part of.
It was so fun. It was such a fun performance. So I appreciate you talking to me about that and about this. I love the Addams Family. So thank you.
Right on. Thanks for having me.